Good morning, brothers. JK, your brother in the struggle here, on my way back from the gym. Today, I want to talk about the importance of picking a game during your reboot and winning it. I'm JK Emezi, founder of Elevated Recovery and head coach at the Porn Reboot Coaching System. We help high-performing executives, business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals to end their out-of-control sexual behavior within 90 days discreetly. So I know there are a lot of brothers out there who are going to therapy, going to 12-step groups, working with a counselor of some sort, religious or otherwise. And if that is the best thing for you, and that's the thing you feel comfortable with, and that is the thing you are motivated to go to, by all means, please keep doing it. I've often said that it's better to do something than to do nothing and think you can do this on your own. When I talk about games, one thing that a lot of therapists might not want to hear is that, or brothers who go to therapists, is that sometimes there's an aspect of your reboot capital, be it physical, social, mental, emotional, spiritual, and so on, that needs to be fixed. And the context I'm going to use, just that so some brothers can understand it better and relate to it, is the concept of a game. There are some men who are medicating some aspect of their life, that they have where they've not accomplished something in with pornography. So they experience anxieties, insecurities, and fears around those things. The insecurities stem from low self-esteem and also from comparing themselves to other people, right? So you compare yourself to other people on Instagram, other people around your age. You look at all the different things that they have and you think that you should have it. So maybe you're in your 20s or in your early 30s. Let's say in your 20s, you're looking at another guy who's 24, 25 years old, and he's the successful entrepreneur, making a whole bunch of money. He's taking performance-enhancing drugs. He doesn't tell you that, of course, and he's jacked as fuck. Maybe you're a guy in your early 30s or mid-30s. You got 1.5 kids, and you're struggling to go to the gym, and you're always fatigued because you got all these family responsibilities. You're also a pretty ambitious guy. And again, you compare yourself to other people who are your age, who are these super dads, right? They've got a six-pack. They're making a lot of money. They are leading in their churches. They are productive in their businesses, loving their wives. They have date night. Oh God, these guys are so fucking perfect, right? Live in a beautiful home and so on and so forth. And so you're comparing yourself to these people who have curated their lives online, either to sell you something or just for their own validation, right? So when you look at these things, what they do is that they trigger insecurities or any unresolved issues you have in those areas. And gentlemen, my point is, sometimes resolving those issues in your life, not mentally, will end your behavior with pornography. There were a lot of men in their 20s who all they really needed to do was get laid. Yeah, I know a lot of guys hate the word get laid. Oh my God, hookup culture. Don't you know that if you get laid and you engage in hookup culture, you're gonna go from porn addiction to sex addiction? The only people that say that are dudes who don't get any. I'm not lying, it's the truth. I used to say shit like that until I started having sex on a regular basis. Now, full disclosure, I'm in a long-term relationship right now. But back then, that was one of the things I said. However, having sex for me, it really did help control my behavior. Certainly didn't end it. There were different areas of my reboot capital I needed to work on. Namely, in my case, mostly the emotional aspect of my reboot capital. I've seen guys in their 20s, the moment that they start having sex or they get into relationship, they're good to go. I'm not saying that getting into a relationship is going to end your behavior. I'm just saying that there's a subsection of guys who actually need that. There are others who are struggling and are in survival mode. So they just need to get their finances right, and their behavior will stabilize and they will have control over it. So I'd like you to identify the game that you're struggling at. Excuse me, I'm a little bit out of breath because I just went straight from the gym into the car. Identify that game, and by extension, a 12-step group or your therapist might be doing a good job in making you feel better, even helping you control your behavior. But a lot of them are not conditioned to believe that the game ends. What I mean by that, you don't have to be this dude on this endless treadmill chasing a carrot trying to make money. You can set an enough is enough number. I know this is very contrarian thinking. Go for that number invest your money, and get out of the game. You can literally retire early. I know people who have done that. I know people who have done that in their 30s. I had the opportunity to do that about 7 years ago. I chose to go the route of porn reboot. But there are different things you can do. You don't have to be this multi-millionaire. You can decide, this is enough for me. And I'll still work, but I work because I want to, but I'm not working to chase money or financial freedom anymore. You can get out of the I want to have sex with a lot of girls game too. There are men, I believe, this is my personal belief, nothing professional, my personal belief, that every man who is not a sex addict, all right, who doesn't have a sex addiction, has a threshold. There's a number of women you will have sex with, and then you're done. What do I mean by that? Then it becomes commonplace. Then your brain has adapted to it, and you're just like, yeah, sex is sex. You don't see a woman and go like, oh my God, like I gotta have sex with her, because you've been there, done it. For some men, that number might be 40. For some men, that number might be 4. I won't say what my numbers are, but I did get to that point in my early to close to mid-20s before I got into a relationship. And that was my number. I was no longer going crazy over women, right? Again, I want to keep putting this disclaimer out here. This does not mean the same is going to work for you. I'm just putting out a different perspective based on my experience and the experience of a subsection of my clients. If you're listening to this and going like, you know what, JK, that is not for me. My fear is that if I leave pornography and I start having sex with different women, it is never going to end. It's going to be a bottomless pit of desire. All I want to say is consider the possibility that anybody who has fed you that is somebody who is either a sex addict, which is different from somebody struggling with a out of control behavior with pornography and masturbation, or somebody who had never experienced that, but they had controlled their behavior. But because of their fears of that, like yours, they just went about spreading it. It's the same thing like those guys who say, if you have sex with somebody who you're not married to or who you're not in a committed relationship with, it's just empty. You feel empty. I'll be very honest with you. I did feel empty when I was having sex, when I was not in a relationship. You know, the only times I felt empty? The only times I felt empty were the times that I was having sex with a woman who I was not attracted to. I was just having sex with her because, for the sake of having sex with her, you know? Went to a bar, met her, felt horny, had sex with her. And I woke up the next morning and I would feel really empty because I wasn't attracted to her. I just did it for the sake of doing it, right? That was when I felt empty. But the vast majority of the time, I would say 90% of the other times, sex I had was intimate, it was enjoyable. I actually look back on it fondly because I met a lot of women, cool women, crazy women. All of those were learning experiences. Sometimes the sex was so awesome that I was like, you know what, this ain't relationship sex. This is not sex that you have every day. And that was okay. You know, it's like trying something that's too fucking sweet. You know, you're gonna get diabetes if you have it every day or you build a relationship with it. So no, I didn't feel empty, right? And I was like, wow, that empty thing, at least in my life, it was a myth. And this is 13 years on from when I was regularly having lots of casual sex, right? It didn't fuck me up. I didn't become some fucked up, like, dude who was like, oh, I want sex with every woman I see and insatiable. I think, or rather on the contrary, it made me a lot more even-keeled about the concept of casual sex, right? So, gentlemen, decide the game. What the game is you're gonna play it. The game might be in a certain season of your life. I want to extend this. I know this is a little bit all over the place, as my car videos tend to be these days, bear with me. But there are also some men who are in relationships, abusive, emotional relationships with women, and they're afraid of getting out of these relationships. They think that the relationship is, you know, they're never going to be able to replace that woman with someone else. It's going to be the end of the world. They have kids, they have the house, they have the location, they have the job. They're so scared of those things. That's what they're medicating. I've seen men end those relationships, and they're absolutely ecstatic. They're so happy, so much happy. Like literally, it's day and night. Because they've played the game. They've played the game of being the married guy with kids, and they're no longer happy. A solution to your marriage problem doesn't always have to be sitting down with a couples counselor and fixing it. Sometimes your marriage has to die completely and never restart. And you just have to let it go. Sometimes it has to die and restart with the same person, but you all need to kill many of the expectations you all had and many of the beliefs. I've done that in my long-term relationship many times. I'd say about 3 or 4 times our relationship has completely died. and by traditional standards, it should have been a breakup. But we both chose to work on it, and we resurrected it, and each time the relationship has been completely different from what it was a few years ago, right? So I would say we've had strings of 3 years, and then something happens, 3 years, something happens, 3 years, something happens, and we've done that like about 4 times. So gentlemen, I'm home. I gotta get to work. If you have any questions about that, go ahead and ask it in the comment section. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for taking the time. Join me watching this video. I'll speak to you later on in the week. Bye.
Whenever you're ready, here are 4 ways that Porn Reboot can help you out for free. The first way is to subscribe to our channel and make sure you click on the notification bell to get a new video every other day. The second way is to get a copy of the free book, Confessions of a Porn Addict, 7 Secrets of Porn-Free Men. You'll learn about my personal struggle and the lessons I've learned over a decade, as well as strategies for putting together your porn reboot plan and ending your compulsive behavior with pornography or masturbation. So click on the link in the description below this video. The third way is if you're not sure where to start, but you'd like to learn more about my team and I, if you'd like to spend time with like-minded professionals, entrepreneurs, business owners, guys who work in sales, consulting, or high-level jobs, men who are controlling their behavior, then join our free and confidential group, the Porn Reboot group on Facebook. There's also a link to join in the description below this video. And finally, if you need help right now because you have a burning issue, your behavior with pornography is hurting you mentally, you're about to lose your relationship, you want to live up to your potential, you want to be an authentic man and free yourself from shame, guilt, and underachieving, click on the link in the description below this video that says free coaching call, or visit elevatedrecovery.org and click on the link which says book a call.